Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep, and we are looking at question number 43 from the OG13 RC chapter. In case you haven't understood the passage properly, please watch the video for question 42, in which I discuss the passage in great detail. So the question says, which of the following, if true, would most weaken the explanation provided by the human capital theory for women's concentration in certain occupations in 17th century Florence? Okay, so the human capital theory now gives you two explanations. The first explanation is that women did not have the right training to get high paying jobs, but that was more about the pay. I think it will be the second one, where it explains that women could only take up those low skill jobs which could be performed from home. I think that one should be the answer, but we have to weaken that. To weaken that, you have to somehow show that it was the fact that those jobs could be performed from home was not the reason women took up those jobs. There was some other reason why they took up those jobs. It's basically causality, if you remember your critical reasoning. The passage is saying X is causing Y. To weaken that, you have to show that Z can also lead to Y. So let's go through the options. A says women were unlikely to work outside the home, even in occupations whose hours were flexible enough to allow women to accommodate domestic tasks as well as paid labor. That looks like the perfect answer actually, because it says even if, see, the theory, the human capital theory says women could not take up certain jobs because they had to stay at home. But A says even if women had the option of going to work outside without affecting their work at home, even then they wouldn't have taken up those jobs. So there is something else that is stopping women from taking up those jobs, which is not the fact that they cannot leave the house or go out of the house. So A is a perfect weakener if you ask me. B says parents were less likely to teach occupational skills to their daughters has no relevance to what the human capital theory explains. C says women's participation in the Florentine paid labor force grew steadily through the 16th and 17th century. That's okay, it grew, but it doesn't weaken the point made by the human capital theory that the reason why women work in certain occupations is because they couldn't step out of the house or they had to stay at home and take care of the home. D says the vast majority of female weavers in the Florentine wool industry had children. Doesn't weaken anything. Maybe the vast majority was working in these specific jobs. E says few women worked as weavers in the Florentine silk industry. How does it help silk industry? I don't think I should even read beyond that. I'll read it, which was devoted to making clothes that require a high degree of skill to produce. That's okay, it doesn't help at all. The point is, see, the only way to weaken this argument is if you understand what has to be weakened. So the human capital theory basically is saying that the only reason women could not take up certain jobs is because they had the household chores to take care of. A says that is not the case. Even if women could manage both, take up a job outside the house and handle their daily household chores, they would still not take up those jobs. So then there is some other reason that is stopping women for taking up those jobs. So A should be the answer to the question.